let's begin. So here is a chart. You can see it's been used before with some notes and some trackers. This is just a basic chart to make the head, and all it shows is how far you increase up to, and then you start decreasing. All right, so to start off, we are going to be using this color right here. And our chart tells us to MR, which stands for magic ring. All right, so we're going to make a magic ring, and then we're going to put 6 single crochets into that ring. So the pluses are single crochet, and the V is an increase, and then the upside down V is a decrease. All right, so round 1. Make a ring. That's not a ring. Make a ring. And then put your first little slip stitch into the ring. Reposition. And now you're going to single crochet 6 into that ring. 1. Try to keep them loose. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, drop the yarn. This is what it should look like. There's your stitches. Now, what you're going to do is, see how this is wrapped around? We're going to unwrap that, and that's the string that we're going to pull. So I like to make sure that these are straight, and then kind of hold on to them, and then pull slowly, and then straighten them out again. Okay, there they are, and then we close it up. Now don't pull too tight. I usually leave enough room to look through, so we will close that up later completely. All right, so our magic ring is done. And we put 6 in there. Let me make a note of that. We're just going to put a little check mark. All right. Now, next, we are going to go up to 12, and we're going to do that by putting 2 single crochets, increases into every single crochet around. So we'll do 6 increases, which will double our stitch count up to 12. Here we go. This first one is always hard to get into, but it's right there. Do you see it? Here we go. Into that stitch. Okay. And then you're going to pull through. Then the fun part is you get to go into that stitch again. So it's a little easier to see this time. So just put it in. Pull up your second loop. And now we're going to start counting. So we just did 2. So we're going up to 12. We're going to put 3 and 4 into our next stitch. Now, next stitch, we're going to put 5 and 6. The next stitch gets 7 and 8. And then we have 9 and 10 in the next stitch. And then 11 and 12 in the final stitch. And now we can tighten up. All right, so we just made it to 12, and now we need to go to 18. So we are going to do that by putting one single crochet into that increase, and then we're going to increase again. So the repeat is one increase, one increase. Okay. Actually, before we start, this is a great time to bring in a contrasting color, very short piece, and use that as your row counter. So you just tuck it in. All right, and here we go. So we're gonna single crochet one, and then we're gonna increase. So we're gonna put 2 stitches in the place of 1. So there's our first stitch, and then we're gonna go right back into that hole again. Single crochet 2, okay. So now we're gonna just repeat that pattern. So you just single crochet, and then increase, and then single crochet, and then increase, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so I only have my last 2 stitches, which is an increase. All right, so this marker marks the first stitch of every round. So when you make it to the stitch right before it, you know you're done. All right, and every round, you see how it's coming out of the front right here? Every round, we bring it to the back, and then the next round, we'll bring it to the front. And that tracks how we count our rows. All right, so we're done with this and that. So now we're going to do something similar. We're going to single crochet 2 and then increase. Single crochet 2 and then increase for a total of 24 stitches. And here we go. So I did 2 single crochet, whoops, and then we increase. Let's do it again. 2 single, and then an increase. And before we move on, let me show you how you can kind of track these if you get lost. So if you pull it apart, you can see right there, we have 2 stitches on top of 2 stitches. Now when that happens, it's going to make this hexagon shape. So what you can do to alter that is stagger where you put your increases. So that's a fun thing you can do, but for this pattern, just to keep it simple, we are going to stack our increases. All right, so we were on 2 single crochet and then an increase. So you can always see those 2 doubles stacked on top of each other. So there's 1, 2, and then we put 2 on top of there. All right, I'll meet you at the end. All right, I've made it to my final increase. So you see the 2 stitches there, you're just going to put 2 more on top of them. All right, so we finished this round, and we're going to do one more increase round to 30 stitches. Very similar to how we did before. We're going to single crochet 3 this time, and then increase, and then single crochet 3, and then increase. all the way around for 30 stitches. All right. So now we're going to bring this to the front. And we're going to start our repeat of 1, 2, 3. Here's our double stitch. We're going to increase there. All right. Now we're going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. And then there's our double stitch, so we increase. All right. And you just repeat that all the way around. I'll meet you at the end. All right. I've got one more increase to do. And I have 30 stitches. All right. So, a couple things now. So we have done all of our increases. And now it says single crochet 4 rows. Okay. So what I like to do is pull out my tracker and put it back in so that I can easily track my 4 rows without having to count or do anything. I just crochet all the way around for 4 rows. So here we go. And I will meet you after we've done the 4 rounds. All right, so I only have one more stitch to go, but I wanted to show you something first. This is how you count how many rows there are. So every time that your counting thread comes out, it counts as 1. So when you make a stitch like this, this is coming out for 1 and then wrapping back over for 2. So that's 2 rows. And then you come out for that, that's a row, and then you wrapped over again for 4. All right. So every time you go, it's 4 rows. Okay. All right. So we are done with this row. Now we are going to start decreasing. So we decrease in the exact same way that we increased, but in reverse. So we worked up from single crocheting 1 to 2 to 3 and then an increase. Now we're going to start with 3 and decrease, and then we'll do 2, decrease, and so on. All right, flip our checker. And now we're going to do 3 single crochet, 3, and then here's how you decrease. So you have 2 stitches that you want to make into 1 stitch. And now we go through the front loop of the first one and the front loop of the second one, pull the yarn through, and then finish your stitch. All right, let's do one more. So we did our 3 singles, and now we go through that front loop, and pull through both. And we repeat that all the way around. I'll meet you there. Okay, I'm on my last decrease. All right, so our next row is this one. So we're going to do 2 singles and a decrease. All right, 2 singles and a decrease coming up. Alright, so we are doing 1, 2, and then a decrease. And then 1, 2, and a decrease. And I will meet you at the end. Alright, I have my last decrease. Okay. So, we have finished this round. I already put a check next to it. So here is where I like to stop what I'm doing and put in my safety eyes. All right. So before I do that, let me explain what we're doing here. So safety eyes are going to go in between round 8 and 9. So it's going to be 2 rounds into your 4 rounds of single crochet. All right, let me show you how to count to that. Okay, so we count our ring as 1, at least in this pattern. So the first row of 6 is actually row 2. Okay, so we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to put our first eye in between round 8 and 9. I'm just going to make a nice hole there for it. All right, and then we're going to plop it in. Now, I always wait to put on the backs until after I've got both eyes in. All right, so next eye, we want to have, for this pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches between the 2 eyes. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to count right here. 1, 2, or no, let's do the middle right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Now, if I put it right there, it's gonna cover up my last stitch, which I don't want it to do. So I'm actually gonna go 1 over so that it covers that 8th stitch and leaves me with 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the eye is going to cover that up. I hope that's right. Let's put this in. And we'll check. Here we go. So stitches we can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exactly. So we are going to embroider the nose across the middle 3. So we have the middle 3, and then there's 2 on either side. So this is perfect. All right. Next step. Kind of turn it a little inside out. And here's how I put the eye backings on. So I put them in. Oops, I won't drop them all over the floor. Okay, so put them on like that. And then whatever way you can, push it down. Okay, all the way down. Okay, we're going to do the other one, which I dropped on the floor. So I'm going to do the same thing. Put it on like that. All the way down. And here's something that I like to do that I just recently started doing. So this takes up a lot of room on the inside of your toy, this black thing. So I got a pair of needle nose pliers that have this little blade here. And these are surprisingly easy to snip. The only problem is this little black part that you snip off tends to go flying. So you just line it up like that, and then I'm going to do it here, and hopefully it doesn't go everywhere. and you just snip. There it is. So if you look, that's going to be a lot better in the stuffing section. Okay, let's do the other one. All right, and there you go. Throw that away. And now we will stuff the head just a little bit. All right, so let's see. We don't need too much, but what I like to do is just kind of break it into little smaller pieces so that it doesn't clump up. All right, let's start with that much. All right, just take a little bit. Well, before we do that, let's trim our starter. So I pulled the magic circle tight, and then I'm going to trim this thread coming from the center. All right, so you want pull a big loop there like that. You want all of your threads out of the center. So you take your little bit and just start pushing it in. All right, I think that's good for now. We'll add some more in a minute. All right, so our next row says 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. So it is a little tricky to crochet with the stuffing in. Kind of push down away from the stitch that you're going to be working in, and you're going to do 1 single crochet and then 1 decrease. So the front loops only. And then you're going to single crochet. And then you're going to decrease through those front loops. And you just work your way around, single crocheting and decreasing. And I will meet you at the end. All right, I have my last decrease to make. And let's take a look. All right, I think I'm going to add a little more stuffing. Just fill him out a little bit better. All right. He's got a moderate amount of stuffing. You can see his stitches are starting to pull apart just a little bit. I might have put a little too much. I don't know. I'm going to say about that much. All right, so this is one of the trickiest rounds. You have a small circumference and you need to do a decrease in every single stitch. So we're on row 14, decrease in every stitch around. All right, so we will put our counter to the side, push down on the stuffing, and then we will try our best to decrease every stitch. Decrease. All right, and then another one. So I find it helps to not move very far with your hook when you're doing this. You kind of just pull it through, just barely. All right. And now we're on our last two. 1, 2. All right, let's remove this. This is always fun. And now we're going to leave a good tail. And here's what I do. I just pull out my loop. And to close it off, I'm going to use my tapestry needle and thread it on. And then I'm going to go through the front loop of all 6 of these stitches. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th one is a little hard to find, but it's right there. 6. Now you just turn to the direction like this, and you pull it closed. All right. Now I never know whether to go into the center or not, but I feel like I usually do, and it's fine. All right, so let me pull it a little tighter. All right, and then just go straight out a random stitch on the top. Now you don't want to pull too tight or else it will lose its shape. So you just do that, and then I go back down kind of at an angle. And then I'll do that one more time. So 3 total. That should hold it in place. All right, let's make the ears. All right, so we have this little guy. So I'm gonna use the light color for the main part. I'm gonna be making the small version. So I'm gonna use the light color for the main part of the ear. And then for the slip stitches, I'm going to do the dark color. So I'm gonna start with my light green, and I'm gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in the second chain, right there. Okay. In the second chain, I'm going to do a single crochet, and then I'm going to do a half double. And then I'm going to do a double. And then I'm going to put 3 doubles, 3 trebles, and then 3 more doubles in this very last stitch. Go in, oops, 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to put 3 trebles. 1, 2, yarn over twice. There's 1. Here's 2. And then 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to finish off with 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Now the pattern says double crochet, half double, and then a single. So for the first one, it's small, but it's right there, and we're going to put a double crochet right there. And then we're going to put a half double in this next one. And then we're going to put a single right there. Oops, no need to yarn over for a single crochet. Okay, now I'm actually not going to finish that stitch because I'm going to change yarn colors. So you're going to take your old yarn, your new yarn, and pull it through to finish that stitch. We're going to put a chain, and then we're going to slip stitch all the way around, starting in that first chain. Slip stitch all the way around. All right, as you're coming up to your last one, you're going to put a slip stitch in that last one. And then you're going to slip stitch to your first slip stitch. So it's a little tricky to get under both, but you can. There you go. And then you're done. With the crocheting part at least. Now we're going to trim, leave this a little long so that you can sew. All right. Fasten it off, and we are going to weave in this end coming from the center. So you're just going to go counterclockwise under all of these double and treble crochet loops. Okay, keep going. And then you pull it tight to close it. And then I will just trim that close. All right, and there you have it. So what we're going to do with these ends, we're going to attach the ear to the body with this long one coming from our previous round. And then these two, we're going to just put them both in the needle, and then we will anchor them to the head as well. So it'll be pretty secure. Now you can have your ears like this, or you can push this middle part out and have them go like that. They both look good. It's just up to preference. I usually end up leaving them like this. But that's it. That's how you make the ear. All right, so before we go attaching the ears, this is my pin cushion, and we can look here at the ears because we're going to attach them the same way. We are working, here's our magic ring, right here in the center, and then we are going to work down 1, 2, and in this third, around this third stitch from the magic ring. And we do the same thing on the other side. So we do 1, 2, and then we wrap it around the third. So that's where the side tops of our ears are going to go. Well, I guess that's the inside part of the ear. All right. And then we're going to work it across 2 stitches to secure it. We're going to work across 2 stitches to secure it. And then on the back, that's where we took those extra tails and secured them in right there. All right, so let's begin. So I'm going to take a pin, I'm going to take an ear, and then I'm going to just put the pin like that. And then I'm going to find that third, 1, 2, 3. We want to wrap it around there. And I'm just going to stick it in. Now be careful not to poke yourself. I think that's pretty good. It's about halfway, right in the middle. All right, let's do the other one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Let's try to line it up. Let me go at a different angle. Okay. All right, those look pretty good. Okay, so I am gonna grab my blunt tapestry needle and thread it. And then I'm gonna carefully pick this up, watching out for the 2 pins sticking out. Now, let's take a closer look. So we are in the stitch where we want the ear to sit. So I'm gonna take my pin out and look and see that I want to go right here. Okay. So you have the pin. You have the pin sticking out of a stitch, and then with the needle, you're going to go into that stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to take my needle out and let everything fall, and then pull my needle through. Okay, so we're attached to the spot that we want the ear. So next, we're going to go directly into that first slip stitch right there. Grab both legs. Can be a little tricky. There we go. No, that's not it. All right, so we do that and then pull it completely tight. So after you've pulled it tight, you can see that it looks a little better now. So now we want to go back into the same spot where this yarn came out. So we want to go back into the same spot that we came out of, and we're going to come out behind the ear, like so. And then pull it tight. And then we have this one little blue stitch right here. We want to go into that. And then we're going to go right back in to where we came out. Okay, and then we're just going to come out a random stitch. All right, and that ear is basically attached. We're just going to weave this in and trim it. All right, now let's take care of these. So we're going to load them both on the tapestry needle. And we are going to go straight down. So that same stitch that we went in with our blue thread, we're going to go in with both of these. And I'm not going to go at the same angle. I'm going to tilt it a little bit and then pull them through. And see how that helps the ear stand up? Oh, got a little stuck. There we go. All right. Yeah. it just stands up like that. Alright, now we're going to weave that in. Oh, I got lost. Let me weave this one in separately, I guess. I'm hitting this needle in the middle. Okay. That was a little messy, but hey, it's okay. So we're just going to do the same process on this ear. Alright, time for the mouth. So we're going to embroider with the lighter color. You don't need much. That's probably too much, but that's okay. Alright, so I like to use a sharp needle. Alright, now we just need to make a knot. Okay, just kind of like that so that the yarn will stop. So we gotta attach our yarn. So I'm just inserting into a random spot, and it's really easy to split the yarn with a sharp needle. So when you're doing this, don't do that. So then we pull it in and hide that tail. Alright, and here is where we want to embroider. So you'll remember I said we're gonna have 7 stitches in between the eyes. So we're gonna count 2 out from each one. So 1, 2, and then we wanna go there. And then we're gonna count that as 1, so 1, 2, 3. So we wanna embroider around those 2 spots, okay? Something like that. So you have 2 stitches on each side of that. Okay. We're gonna come out in between those stitches. I'm hitting this. So I'm gonna remove my pin and come out right there. And then I'm going to remove this pin and then go. So this is a 1, 2, 3, and in between. And then we're going to come out the same stitch. Don't pull extremely tight, but you do want it snug. All right, we're gonna repeat that one more time. And we're just gonna go from this side to this side. All right, tidy it up. All right, so that's his nose. Now to make the next part, we're gonna travel with our thread to be about right here. This is why using a sharp needle helps, because you need to split through, because we want a completely straight line from the center down to about right there. All right, so I'm going to go back in through here and come out in the middle of that stitch. Let's say about there, I think. All right. Perfect. And then you're going to find the center, and you're just going to go straight through. And come out a random stitch in the back. And that's it. weave in thread. Okay, let's make our keychain attachment. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the lighter color. All right, so I'm gonna cut off a decent amount of yarn. I'm gonna do about 26 inches maybe. That's probably more than you need, but I almost ran out the last time I did this, and I believe I used 23 inches, so okay. So you're going to attach to the blunt tapestry needle, make your little knot at the end. That one didn't work. Okay, that should be good. And you're gonna go in, doesn't matter where really, but you wanna come out at the very center of your magic ring starting. All right. All right. And now we are going to do that one more time. And come right back out the center. Okay, now the yarn is attached. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go back in one more time, but don't pull it all the way through yet. So leave a real tiny loop, put your crochet hook into that loop, pull it tight, and then come back out of that same middle loop, like that. Okay, we're done with the needle. So our next step is to chain probably 8. So it really just depends on how long you want your keychain to be, but I'm gonna make it a little bit longer, so I'm gonna make mine 10. Yeah, I like that. We're gonna take our little clasp attachment and we're going to put our hook all the way through it. And then we are going to slip stitch once. And I have found that this, even though it's one slip stitch, it does not break. It is totally secure. All right, so then I'm gonna move this out of the way. Oop. Okay, and we're gonna slip stitch our way back down to the bottom, starting in the second chain from the hook kind of situation. All right, just slip stitch all the way down. All right, as you come up to your last one, it should be that one little loop that you made, the very first one. You slip stitch to that. Oop. All right, and then pull your yarn all the way through. All right, and then we're just gonna weave this tail in to the same center. And this is where you can pull it tight. And we want to weave this in a couple times to make sure that it is very secure. So we're just going in and out of random stitches at different angles. All right, give it a trim. And we are done. Thank you for watching. See you next time.